Hello, my name is Adrian Garcia. I'm the Technical Services Manager for ACTi Corporation, and I want to thank you for joining today's webinar for New Products Introduction. Today with me, we also have our co-panelists, Joe Hudak, Joe McCarthy, and Gary Clark, and I'll be giving a brief introduction to our agenda today, and they'll introduce themselves in just a few seconds. So we'll start today by giving you an introduction of our company, how our unified solution is structured, and the licensing information for most of our products. Then we'll go ahead and discuss the new products that will be introduced, and that includes cameras, NVRs, and some of the upcoming products for the next few months. And then we'll go and take a look at what it's like working with ACTi and some of the additional tools that we have available for you to work with in our website. We'll follow up with a Q&A session. So if you do have any questions throughout our presentation, please feel free to post them on our Q&A or chat boxes that we have made available for you to use, and we will be happy to address them then. So let me go ahead and let my colleagues introduce themselves and give you a little bit of background from our company.
Thanks, Adrian. Good morning, everyone. This is Joe Hudak, Director of Sales with ACTi. Thanks for everyone for taking time out of their day to be with us today. For those of you that aren't familiar with ACTi, fantastic company to work with. Been in the IP megapixel space and VMS space in the market for about 17 years now. The great thing is working with ACTi, you can come to us for an end-to-end solution. And even if you do have a customer that has some other manufacturer's equipment, we are an open source manufacturer as well. So we play well with other manufacturers' equipment as well. So you, if you do run into those jobs where you go, hey, we started down the line, or somebody started down the line with a certain manufacturer, but we'd like to move to your product line, we do well with that. The company itself, worldwide headquarters, is based in Taiwan. With everything that's going on in the world today, that's a real strong point for ACTi, because when it comes to the NDAA, John McCain Act, in regards to government spending, and the thanks, Adrian, and the constraints in regards to buying from Chinese-made companies, ACTi has a majority of its products that are NDAA compliant. What you'll also find with ACTi is that our tech support for the U.S. market and our inventory is based in Irvine, California. So when you do call into our tech support, you will actually be calling into California. The team there is fantastic to work with. Adrian's the lead over there, so you'll get some experience with him today. And then the other thing I can tell you about working with ACTi that makes it a great opportunity or a great experience is the sales reps are there to help you. So if you have a problem that's going on, you need a solution, you need to show a customer a demo, just call your sales rep, Gary, Joe, myself, your inside sales rep. We're there to help support you. It's just a matter of picking up the phone or sending an email, and that's what our job is. So with that said, I'll let Joe go ahead and introduce himself, and then Gary, I'll turn it over to you. Joe?
Thanks, Joe. Real quickly, like Joe said, thank you for joining us. This is an interesting session that we have right now, because it will be covering some of the newer products that we've released recently or will be releasing. So it's a good way just to keep up to date. With a company like ours who tends to release things, quarterly, if not annually, it can be difficult to keep up sometimes. So this could be very informative for you. Gary?
The one thing I like to say is that the focus products, okay, to me are key, and the reason why is because it's really what's hot today. It's really what separates us from a lot of the other players. And by focusing on the new A series, for an example, some of the new advantages and benefits in our software, it gives you the strength and ability to be able to go out and win where probably you wouldn't if you didn't or weren't aware of these features and these benefits that we have today. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. So let's take a quick look at what ACTi's unified solution looks like. This is our ecosystem where we have all of our cameras integrated. This could be analytic cameras, regular cameras, non-BIF cameras. They work with our NVRs. We do have different solutions for redundancy and storage and backup. And we also can link everything together with our CMS, our central management system, and our TVWall, which is typically used in command or control or dispatch centers. Then you have different types of clients you can connect with, including the workstation and the mobile client app. So all of this is part of our ecosystem, and this is what we refer to as a unified solution, because you have a single point of contact, and that makes it a lot easier for you to deal with when it comes to deploying a new solution. Now, today we will be focusing on some of the new products that we are releasing. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at our licensing structure. Joe, do you want to help me with this one?
Sure. You're asking the salesperson to talk, right, Adrian? We'll never say no. The great thing about, I've been with ACTi going on 10 years now. One of the great things that we have going for us and our customers is how we do licensing. Typically in the market, you'll find that there's two struggles that the end users and the system integrators have, the technicians. The first is budget. Always it comes down to, with projects, there's a certain amount of money to go around. With a lot of the VMS partner companies out there, what you'll find is that they have yearly reoccurring fees that can be anywhere from 10 to 20% the original cost on a yearly ongoing basis. So as your customers set their budgets, that's money that they're just going to keep paying out every year to keep their software current and to get tech support. The great thing about ACTi is when you buy our software, there's a one-time licensing fee up front, just like everybody else. But unlike everybody else, on an ongoing basis, we're not going to charge you. So what we tell our customers is on year 2, 3, 4, and 5, you need to add those next level of cameras, that next level of access control. You now have budget to do that when you work with ACTi. The second struggle that we see in the market often is when a technician needs to go out and upgrade a camera or change out a camera. Most of the VMS platforms require or have it where the camera, the MAC address is actually tied to the license. So in order to change a camera, it could be 10, 15, 45 minutes to do it because the technician has to go in, they have to pull the MAC address, they have to send information to the manufacturer, they have to wait for a response back, then they can add the camera, which can be really time consuming and then expensive as well for the system integrator and the end user. The nice thing with ACTi is we don't do that. We do not attach the license to a MAC address. So if we do need to upgrade a camera, it's as simple as the technician goes into the system, they remove the camera from the system, the license becomes available again. They put the new camera into the system, and the system automatically applies that license to the camera. So it could be done in actually less than a minute, which is a huge time saver and a frustration saver for the technician. So again, no ongoing reoccurring fees, and we make it really easy to reuse licenses if you need to. So thanks, Adrian.
All right, thank you, Joe. So let's continue and let's start taking a look at some of those new products we've been talking about. So we'll start by looking at our new camera portfolio for bullets, domes, and multi-imagers. So we do have 6 models that are or have been recently introduced in the bullets and the domes, and we do have 2 sets of multi-imagers. One is at an 8 megapixel and the other one is at 20 megapixels. Some of the bullets and the domes also include embedded analytics. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at the bullets. So those 6 models, we've introduced 2 models that they are pretty much the same thing, just with the different resolution options. We do have the A310, which is a 4 megapixel bullet, mini bullet actually because of the size, and we do have also a 6 megapixel mini bullet as well, that is an A311. Both of them come with fixed lens, very wide angle, and we'll take a closer look at the specifications on those in just a minute. And then on the zoom bullets, we do have 2 different models that also have the same specifications basically as the A310 and A311, but with a zoom lens. So those will be the A416 and the A4118. Now, the A45 and the A46 are 2 new models that also come with embedded analytics. And if you are familiarized with the A44 we launched last year, this is an analytic that comes with people detection, vehicle detection, and face detection. And the idea with the A45 and the A46 is that this takes this type of analytic one step further by also including the capability of tracking the type of behavior that the object is doing in scene. So now you can say if a vehicle is staying on a specific area or loitering after 2 minutes, then you can trigger an alert. Or if there's a line crossing and there was people detected on it, then you will be able to also trigger an event. So by making this analytics smarter, then you get to reduce the number of false alarms that you get from your camera system. So all of the specifications, you will be able to find them on our product matrix and our product selector, which are some of the most powerful tools you'll see in the market when it comes to being able to filter out specifications. And ACTi.com is where you'll find everything really when it comes to our product information. So this is the best place to start. So again, I'm on ACTi.com. If you do want to find these two resources directly from our website, you'll find on the main links here, product selector and product matrix, these two useful tools. So in this case, I am already pre-filtered. I don't want to see bullets here. So I'll go ahead and uncheck all of the other series and just focus on the A series, which is the ones we're introducing today. And now we can go ahead and take a quick look at some of the cameras. So the great thing about using the product matrix is that it gives you a great overview of the different camera models, and just based on some of the key factors, including the light capabilities of light capturing capabilities, resolution, and the type of camera that you're using, including the lens. So now you can go ahead and even hover on top of the camera, and it's going to give you some additional information. Or even better, you can click on it, and it's going to take you with a pop-up page that is going to give you information, relevant information, including how much stock we have on this model. So this is real-time stock. If you want to take a look and see how many units we have available, it's going to give you also information about similar models. So if in case, for example, you've chosen a camera, or you've been working with a camera for 10 years and now it's going to be discontinued, you will be able to see what's the replacement model for that. You will be able to see the highlights of this camera. So in this case, this is a 4-megapixel mini bullet with infrared, extreme WDR, superior low light sensitivity, and a fixed lens. So we'll talk a little bit more about what these two words mean. So extreme WDR stands for wide dynamic range, and SLOS stands for superior low light sensitivity. So again, we'll take a look at what that means in just a minute. Now, if you want to take a closer look at what the specifications are for this camera, you'll find everything in here. And I'll show you as well how to find this on the product selector and how to be able to filter down per your specific requirements. So one of the things you'll see is that when it comes to WDR, there's a lot of different levels really, and some people get confused in terms of what the different levels mean, or how do you compare it against other manufacturers as well. So the way we structure it, basically, if it's between 120 to 150 dB, this stands for decibels, then that value normally we categorize as an extreme WDR. We do have 4 different levels, so going from low to high, it's basic, advanced, superior, and extreme. And the idea with having those 4 different levels is that you can easily choose based on just, instead of having to figure out by a number, just the extreme WDR typically is the one that performs best when it comes to complicated light. So if you have different light sources in a scene, you can have, for example, very strong contrast light from building lights, and then you can have also maybe from windows or glass doors that you can have daylight as well coming in at noon, or maybe sunset or sunrise. So it doesn't matter if you have different strong light coming into your camera view, you will be able to handle this better if you have higher WDR level. Now, when it comes to superior low light, and this is where you will be able to select based on 3 different levels. You have basic or standard, you have superior, and you have extreme. So depending on what you're looking to get when it comes to low light capabilities or how dark you can get and the camera still can produce a very good image, then this is what it's really going to matter. So you'll be able to see it a little bit clearer if you go actually into the resource page and you scroll down all the way to the bottom. You'll see that for most of our cameras, we do have related videos that we've done for comparison versus other manufacturers, or sometimes we also produce to inform how technology works, including some of the new analytics. So I'll show you as well how to find this in another tool that we have on our website, but this is a good example of our A310 being compared to some to 2 additional brands and showing some of the capabilities when it comes to resolution. In this case, you can see how the details are superior in our camera model. You can also see low light capabilities. So in this case, where it's darker, this is our headquarters in Taiwan. You'll be able to see how the combination of the low light sensor and the extreme WDR help to produce better image in those spots where you have very low light conditions. And this is another example of low light and extreme WDR. So the idea again is that by being able to have those 2 combination of technologies, you will be able to produce a better image quality, which it gets really important when it comes to details like this one. So in this type of scene, again, is just a good example of how WDR can help you to produce better image. So again, for all of our cameras, you'll see this information. You will be able to find other useful resources, including data sheets. So if you want to download it and get more information about a specific model, you will be able to get this data sheet and share it as a PDF. You will find the camera firmware manuals, hardware manuals, that it will include step-by-step instructions for installation, and also other type of certifications. Now, if you're trying to also share this information through a quick link, you will be able to do this by clicking on this share button, and now you can go ahead and copy this link and send it via email or text to some of it, to your customers or your colleagues. So it's definitely a great way of sharing. So the A310 and the A311, again, they're very similar. Main difference is going to be that one is the 4 megapixel versus the 6 megapixels. So now let's take a look at some of the other models we were talking about, which will be the A416 and the A418. So again, they're very similar when it comes to the specifications of their fixed lens. But in this case, we do have a zoom lens, and that means it's a focal length that it can be changed for installation. So the idea with this one is that you can have a lens that is 2.7 to 13.5 millimeters. So that effectively gives you a viewing angle between 29 to 104 degrees approximately. So that, again, is a big advantage when it comes to installation because it also has the autofocus for installation. So now that means you can just point and shoot, and now you can adjust everything remotely to change the viewing angle and making sure the camera is with the right focus as well. So this is a breakthrough technology as well when it comes to high resolution, extreme WDR capabilities, H.265 compression, and overall, it also includes some analytics. So in our future firmware release, we will also have face detection and line crossing and enter area. So if you see this asterisk, just make sure that you take a look at this remarks on the bottom because it might give you additional information about when this can be released. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at another good way of comparing these cameras. So if you were actually to go ahead and select the option of select model, now you can go ahead and start clicking on the green marks here, and we will be able to do a quick comparison between the cameras. So it's a great way for you to compare specs. And I'll go ahead and even compare with the A44 just to give you an idea of how this compares to this camera with 12 megapixels in analytics. So now that we've selected them, we can go ahead and check the options as compare. And this is going to bring you to the product selector comparison. So from here, you will be able to select if you want to see the differences or highlight the differences. You can check this. You will be able to go ahead and also make this a shareable link. So if you want to share this page directly, you can do so. Or you can go ahead and export this into an Excel file or a PDF. And this will be able to give you more options to share as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the camera models. Let's go ahead and choose the A45 and A46, and I'll compare them versus the A44 as well, which is a 12 megapixel camera. So in terms of form factor, these are very similar. Again, the difference is that one is a 2, a 5, and a 12 megapixel. You can see that there's also a big difference when it comes to the low light capability. The A45, it's 2 megapixel, but it comes with an extreme WDR. So when it comes to extreme low light sensitivity, so when it comes to low light capabilities, this is going to perform better. Typically, cameras with smaller sensor or smaller megapixel count are going to have better performance when it comes to low light, and that's just because of the sensor size and how pixels are be able to distribute themselves in receiving light. Now, you'll also find some differences on the lens itself. So you can see that although they're very similar, there are some differences, and that represents different viewing angles. You'll also see that there's also the resolution capabilities are different. So that the A44 does have the 8K capabilities, and it can go up to 12 megapixels, while the other ones are limited to 2 and 5 megapixels. You'll see that there's also the WDR differences. Again, the 2 megapixel one is the one that is with the highest BD value, so that means it has a better performance with WDR. So when it comes to complicated light situations, the A45 is really going to stand out compared to these other two models. And then the other portion is going to be the analytics. When it comes to analytics, the A44 introduced the technology for people in car and face detection, but the A45 and 46 will also have those capabilities plus additional analytics that can combine those events with line crossing, enter area, exit area, and other analytics as well. So really, when it comes to main differences, that's about it. There's other minor differences you'll find, but those are the highlights for those two models. So again, if you want to be able to find this information, you will be able to also use our other tool, which is the product selector. And if you're finding for specific models, you will be able to filter down from here. So you can select a bullet, you can select the series. If you want to start filtering by that, then you can go and check for resolution. So you will be able to find out different models. If you want to compare the A42 versus the A46, then you will be able to do so from here. So these are very comparable models just because they have very similar resolution. But I would say that probably the one that it's actually going to be a future replacement on the A42 and the A41, it's going to be these two models right here, the A416 and the A418, just because the additional resolution and the specs are very similar to each other. So now let's go back to the slides and take a look at some of the other camera models that will be introduced. This will be the domes. Dome cameras are actually pretty similar when it comes to the specifications of the bullets we've introduced. So we have, similar to the A310 and the A311, we have the A71 and 74. These two are fixed outdoor domes that have 4 and 6 megapixels. They have very wide angle. They come with free access rotation, which is something very uncommon for mini domes. So that's a great feature to have because that means you can install it anywhere, a wall mount, ceiling mount, and no need for additional accessories to be able to do additional rotation. You also have the new models A85 and A86. These go side by side with the A45 and A46 in the sense that they're both the new cameras with analytics and 2 and 5 megapixels. And then you also have the A811 and A818 that go the same resolution as the 4 megapixels and 6 megapixels, the A71 and the A74, but with a zoom lens. So let's go ahead and take a closer look to those models. Let me open up the product matrix here, and then we can take a look at those. I'll go ahead and close some of these tabs. And now let's take a look at these two cameras here. So let's go ahead and filter out all of the other series, and we'll just leave our A series here.
Adrian, I would mention to mark off the future models as well.
Yes, that's actually a great input, Gary. Thank you. So when it comes to using our product selector and our product matrix, something you usually want to do is you want to uncheck this option that says future models, because as some models are not released in the market just yet, you want to avoid seeing those and might not being able to see all of the specifications for those models. So in this case, let's go ahead and take a closer look at some of the models we have here. So the new models introduced are A71 and A74. Again, just like with the bullets, you will be able to go ahead and take a look at all of the information in here. You'll be able to find, if you scroll down, you'll be able to see additional diagrams and indication of what ports are included. And if you, again, go back to the bottom, you'll see under resources, different comparison videos. So you'll see, in this case, even some compared to our own cameras, and you will be able to see all compared to other cameras as well. In this case, we're comparing to 3 different models from other manufacturers. And again, just to give you an idea of the structure of the videos, it typically goes like this. We usually do a comparison of just the resolution first, so you can take a look at the details. Then we try to showcase the benefits of using low light and extreme WDR capabilities. So this is really how you see how a camera can perform in real life situations. It's all going to be in the details and how it handles with different low light situations or complicated light situations. So that's how you can determine if the video quality of a camera is good or not, by putting them through this type of different conditions where, yeah, the camera has to adjust itself to different light and other factors to be able to produce video quality.
Adrian, can I add in there for just 1 second comment? So this is Joe Hudak. One of the things that we often see from the end users is they just ask for more pixels. Give me 3 megapixels, 5 megapixels, 8 megapixels, 10 megapixels, whatever the case may be. And a lot of the salespeople that we work with also get caught up in that. One of the things that I think Adrian's stressing here through this presentation is, although your pixel count will be important in regards to detail and digital zoom, the other essential part that you have to get with your camera is how you deal with the lighting. And in every place that you put a camera, the lighting condition is going to be different. And this is why the WDR and the low light are important. So the thing I always tell customers is, if we can do a 10 megapixel camera, but it's completely dark out there and it can't see because it doesn't have the low light technology, you have 10 million pixels that are basically all black. The picture does you no good. But if we put in a 5 megapixel that has good low light, you're able to see the detail that you want to see. So the key for our customers is, it's just not about pixel count, it's about the overall quality of the picture that you get. And this is why these other features that Adrian's talking about are so essential to selecting the camera. I think what you'll also see is that the A-series overall does it does a really good job of compensating for light and resolution and giving you the best overall picture. So Again, just keep that in mind. Pixel count is important, but also how we handle light and the overall performance of the camera is really key to any sale and any solution. Thanks, Adrian.
Great comments, Joe. Thank you. All right, so moving forward, let me go ahead and select the models that we were actually going to compare. So let's go ahead and let me actually just click on the link because we have it here. So this is already a link with the comparison of all the 6 camera models that we were going to be introducing today. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at the A71 versus the A74, just to give you an idea again of what the differences are. You'll find that the 2 models really don't change much except the viewing angle or the lens itself, which is at 2.8 millimeter, but this one can give you, because of the resolution option, 101 degrees and versus 97. You also get on both of them the digital rotation, which means that you can actually go ahead and use the 3 axis, so you can rotate it in 3 different ways, the camera. You'll also have the extreme WDR with 150 dB, so that's really high, probably one of the highest in the market. You will be able to also do digital rotation, so this is a great way for you to install them in aisles, hallways, whenever it's going to be really long shot, but it's not very wide, it's actually narrow. Then actual digital rotation, what it does is it allows you to rotate the camera 90 degrees physically, and then you can actually do that rotation digitally so the camera looks upright. So that's also a great feature to have within dome cameras. And the advantage of using dome cameras versus bullet is sometimes just the capability of staying in the same position without being able to have someone tamper with it, just because bullets eventually can be moved around because of the arm that goes behind the bracket. So with domes, it's a lot harder to do that, and just because of that, and also because of aesthetics, sometimes it's chosen over a bullet camera. They're both weatherproof and vandal-proof, so they're IP67 and IP10, and they come with terminal blocks for audio and also digital input, outputs, and also the memory card, so you will be able to do local recording as well on that camera. So if you go back to some of the other models, let's go ahead and click on the show all option. You will be able to see, for example, the A85 and A86. Again, they're very similar to the 2 bullet models we introduced, A45 and A46. So again, there's some differences between the models, just between being bullets and domes, but the internal components when it comes to sensor, lenses, they're pretty much the same thing. And finally, you also have the 811 and 8118. So those 2 models are also here. So you can go ahead and play with and find out which one's more suitable for your own projects, but really they're all going to be great options for you. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the multi-imagers. I'll go ahead and take a look at the comparisons directly from those 2 models, just because there's 2 cameras only. And we have an 8 megapixel and a 20 megapixel. I'm sorry, I think I have to fix this link, but let me go ahead and open up the product matrix and see if we can filter out from here. So the 8 megapixels, it's a bullet, and it comes with 2 lenses, 4 megapixels each, and you will be able to capture 180 degrees with that one, versus the Q75, which is 20 megapixels with 4 camera models, and you will be able to also get 180 degrees with that one. So these are the 2 models here, and let me go ahead and find the specifications on this too. And now let's go ahead and compare them, and we can take a look. like I said before, at any point, if you want to find more information about the camera models, you can go ahead and click on it. And if you want to see a detailed picture of what it looks like, if you want to find resources, and also if you want to scroll down, for example, and take a look at videos from it, you will be able to do so from here. This is a great example of how you can see how a multi-imager looks like when it's connected on the field. So again, this is a bullet camera, so that means it comes with its own bracket already. It does H65 as well, which is a very advanced form of compression, so you save on bandwidth and storage. And then you have two lenses, and there you can see how the stitching is really good on this camera. One more thing to highlight on the multi-imager cameras from ACTi is that they only take one license from your system. So unlike other multi-imagers or VMSs that they might charge you per lens different licenses, with ACTi cameras and ACTi software, you only have to use one license. So again, just an example of how it looks like on both day and night mode, as you'll see in just a second. And with the Q75, you'll see that you'll also have information about accessories. So every camera that has information about accessories, you'll see those on the related products. If you want to find other locations on how to find the accessories that are right for your camera, you can go to, let me go ahead and show you in ACTi.com. You'll be able to find it on the mounting selector here. So if you click on this, you will be able to find any type of accessory based on the camera mount, the mount type that you want to be using. So in this case, I can go ahead and select a model. So I can type in Q75 in here, and it's going to show me all the different mounting options that we have for this camera model. So let's go ahead and try it. So Q75, and it should show me different options, including hard sealing if I want to do a pendant mount or surface, or if I want to do a straight wall or a corner mount option. Then all of those will be shown here, and if I click on these options, it's going to give me the part numbers and the details I need to be able to mount it. So normally I'll be presented with different solutions if I want to use a single L-shaped bracket, or if I want to use a goose stick mount. And then I can go ahead and get more information about those accessories. If I want to see the part number and I want to take a look at what the specifications are for those accessories, I can do that from here as well. All right, so again, these are just models that were recently introduced. This is how you find information on our website when it comes to accessories. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the new NVRs that were recently introduced. So we have the INR 406 and the INR 407. Those are two models that are rack mounted. One comes with a maximum of 128 channels, and the other one with 256. They both come with 64 licenses bundled, so that means you can add 64 ACTi cameras out of the box, and this complements very well our NVR selection, and in the sense that now you have additional benefits such as faster CPU, faster rate card, and higher maximum throughput. A maximum throughput is really what's going to determine how many cameras you can have in your system, and the best way for you to calculate it is using some of our tools in our website. So in this case, let's go ahead and take a look at the specification that says maximum throughput. So it should be somewhere around here. So the 406 can give you up to 340 MPVS versus 550 MPVS on the INR 407. So the idea with the throughput calculation is that now you can go ahead and validate with our tools how you're planning, or the amount of cameras you're choosing are going to be able to be added on your system. So when it comes to specifying 256 cameras, that's under the assumption that you're staying within the maximum throughput. So the easiest way for you to calculate it is using this tool right here. So let's say that you're trying to save footage for 14 days, and then you have your 256 cameras you want to add into your system, and In this case, let's go ahead and select something like with 2 megapixels and maybe 15 frames per second, H265, excellent video quality. So you can see if we select this, our maximum throughput, it looks good. If we want to make it more specific, we can go ahead and select the camera model. So this is what I'll typically recommend for you to do. So you'll go ahead and select the maximum resolution for a camera and your frame rate, H265, and then the video quality. And then in this case, you can see how if we choose all these factors based on the suggested bit rate, we're actually going to be outside of the maximum throughput. So probably the higher we go on the resolution, the more bit rate we're going to need for those cameras, and that translates on a higher throughput requirement. So that's a very important factor for you to decide how many cameras you're going to be placing. The other important factor is going to be storage. So you've got to take storage into consideration. We do have a lot of other tools as well on our website that can be useful for you to plan for this. So if you go to our project planner, this is where you'll find all of the tools, including the validator for standalone throughput and performance, the hardware selector, and the bandwidth and storage calculator, and the VMS selector. So all these tools will help you to plan for this. We do have an upcoming session next week that will talk about how to win a project with ACTi using our online tools. And we also have a session that has been pre-recorded last week, and you'll find that on our Learning Center. So really, when it comes to specifications on NVRs, that's all you got to be taking consideration. We will be happy to help you out to plan for your project. The other thing that we want to make sure we cover today is a new cybersecurity update. In all of the latest firmware and software releases, we've now eliminated the default password 123456, which was in pretty much all of our products. Now, that was because of an introduction of a Senate bill last year that banned any network device to be using a default or a standard password. And so now we require you to type in a new password or just enter your new password every time you set up a new device. So no matter if you're using a new camera or a new NVR from ACTi, you'll have to do this. And this is something that is across the industry. So just to give you a good idea of something that has been recently introduced. Again, if you do have any questions, feel free to post them on the Q&A chat box, and I'll be happy to address them at the end of the session. So let's take a look at some of the upcoming models that we have for NVRs. In the third quarter of this year, we'll have our GNR 340 and INR 411. This will be two models that we'll have the latest one of the latest generations of CPU, advanced throughput. They all come with Windows 10, IoT, and so the INR 411 up to 12 base with advanced RAID capabilities. So again, they complement very well our NVR portfolio. We'll also be introducing in the second half of this year gunshot detection solution. This is going to be an acoustic sensors that are going to be deployed across indoor or outdoor facilities. And then the idea is that it's already integrated with the NVR3 and the CMS2. So whenever you have an event that it's detected by these devices, then you will be able to associate it to a camera and see it real time from playback from your NVR3 and CMS2. So we'll have more information about this in the next few weeks as this product gets through our development phases. We also plan to release thermal cameras that will be able to determine temperature. So this is something that it's also on the pipeline for our second half this year, and we'll have three different models. One will be a handheld camera, a bullet, and also a door station for access control. So again, we'll have more information about this in the next few weeks. And we also are going to be introducing color detection solutions. So if you're trying to use your NVR and find a suspect that was wearing a red shirt and black pants, you will be able to use filters. So that way you will be able to find every suspect that was with that color pattern, was wearing that color pattern. And that's going to be through the NVR3, so you'll be able to use those search filters. And that's going to be an add-on through an additional server, an MGB 194, that will be able to select multiple cameras, and that way you'll be able to send that metadata into the NVR3 for those advanced filters. So that's about it when it comes to the new product introduction. So let's go ahead and wrap this up, this session. Again, if you do have questions, feel free to post them on the chat box. I just want to highlight the project planner tools that I mentioned before. This is where you'll find a lot of useful resources to not only find information about ACTi products, but if you want to find if third-party cameras are integrated with our system, you'll find tools for that as well. If you do need technical support from us, you can contact us Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Time, or you can open up a ticket on our customer help desk platform, and we will be happy to support you then. Finally, I want to leave you with the thought of registering to ACTi.com if you haven't done so yet. That will give you access to exclusive content. You'll also be able to take a look at the previous recordings. So if you want to find those, you go into the Learning Center and you can take a look at the past webinars. And it will also give you our monthly newsletter so you can get more information about new products.
Adrian, will you go back to past webinars?
Yep.
Okay, clicking on the right side where it says with recording, okay, makes it a whole lot easier to find the ones that they can go ahead and watch now. Okay?
Yeah.
So without that, you have to search. Thanks.
Great input. Thank you, Karen. Yeah. So you can go ahead and play those recordings directly from our website here. They get uploaded on a frequent basis, so this webinar will be available as well for you to take a look later on if you want to play. So I want to thank you for your time today. Let's go ahead and see if there's any questions on the Q&A chat box. In the meantime, any final comments, guys?
Yeah, great. Thanks, Adrian. Did a great job again today. 3 key points I want to leave everybody with today. First and foremost, the team that's on the session with us today, Gary, Joe, Adrian, has a ton of experience of years in different types of projects in the industry. So if you're working on something, feel free to reach out to the team. They're happy to help, give recommendations and solutions and best practices. Lean on their experience. They're there for you. Second thing is, as we go through these new cameras, I frequently get asked, hey, can we get one in our office to put up to do demos? ACTi does have a program, a not-for-resale program. You can reach out to your sales rep. They'll be happy to secure one for you at a discounted price so that you can actually put it up, you can test it, you can demo it, and you can use it for sales as frequently as you like, obviously. And then the last thing is if you are working on a project, don't forget to do project registration with your sales team member. They'll help you secure best pricing and help you close the project. With that said, Joe?
No, thank you, Joe. Thank you, Adrian, for a great job. I don't have really much to add. You guys covered just about everything, so I'll pass on to Gary, and we could finish this up with questions.
The only thing I'll say is that, Adrian went specifically over wide dynamic range, and, a lot of our partners, they run a lot of wire, a lot of cable, and things like that in major warehouses and so forth. And when you're looking out those bay doors, and you see the sunlight, directly at you from the east or the west, depending upon the time of day, that's when the wide dynamic range really takes, its significance total as far as being the right solution for the customer. Or in the bank buildings, looking outside or inside, or in schools, outside to inside. There's not a school, and I think I've closed so far 61 in the last 3 years myself. And the thing is that each one of them, one of the key factors was the fact that the sunlight and the wide dynamic range and the low light. And the new A series, which Adrian went over today, is so important because it handles both the low light and the high light. And so I call it the afternoon series because it handles both. In the winter or the summer, you get what you want. You get both ends and you have great coverage with one series of cameras. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the questions on the chat. We were asked about the temperature monitoring solutions, and if this is something that it's going to be released soon due to criticism of other manufacturers releasing it very early and not having good results or false positives, expensive calibrators. So I agree with that. That's where we are being very careful when releasing this type of solution, even though right now it's a hot product. We want to make sure it gets tested and gets validated before it gets released to the market. So we're going to be very careful with releasing this type of solution and not do it until we feel very comfortable that it's giving value to the end user and to protect facilities. So that's definitely a good input. The other question we have is about licensing for the analytics within the cameras. So we've covered a little bit more about this type of analytics in another session, so you'll be able to find that on our Learning Center. But as a simple answer, there's no additional license for the analytics that come embedded with the cameras. You basically only need to have your NVR3 corporate license, and then you will be able to program all of the analytics from the cameras directly on the NVR3. So you can do the event programming, and you can also send a response, and everything again is included with the camera license itself, so you don't have to pay for additional analytic licenses. Now for some other advanced analytics, such as the color detection, or for like the gunshot, or maybe like license plate or face recognition, or those might need additional licenses, but for the analytics that come embedded with the cameras, you don't need those. And I think that's about the end of the questions that we have here. If you do have any other comments that you want to add later on, feel free to reach out to us. We will be happy to assist you or answer any of your questions. My name is Adrian Garcia, and I want to thank you one more time for joining this webinar session for new products. And we will have another session later today for a VMS overview. If you want to join us, I really want to welcome you to do so. And thank you for your day today.